Greetings. Let's talk about the power and the advantage of trading breakouts. Firstly, I greet you in the love light of the one infinite creator. So let's take a look at a stock here. So there are two stocks we're going to be taking a look at. They are both in the cruise industry. So we can call it, leisure. So RCL is one of them, Royal Caribbean, and the other one is NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Line Holding. So you can see here difference. This is 9 years of monthly data. In the first case for RCL, we are seeing this amazing recovery of the lows of 2022. And we're talking about of a price low here of 30s. The stock is going to trade as high as, let's call it 260. That's a huge return. And compare that with the Norwegian Cruise Line. We can see here the lows, 2022, same lows. Let's call it in the 10s. The high so far is 27. So a paltry, disappointing return. But I want to show you why playing breakouts is actually more profitable. So we take a look at this huge drop in both cases. 2020 began, and of course the cruise market, the entertainment market worldwide was shut down. So the huge drop here in early 2022 in both instances. So again, we can see huge drop here. Now, prior to that drop in both cases, you're also going to observe that there was also other reasons for this plunge. From a technical perspective, take a look at the prior monthly closing highs. If we extend it this way, we see that they were coming into 2020 a series of failed breakouts. So already there was some suggestion that this was trending, or at least was pointing to a possibility of eventually rolling over. Now, the magnitude of the rollover, of course, is unseen. Just because of the failed breakouts doesn't mean that you can see this big plunge. But also we can see that in the case of RCL, the same thing. So we have these monthly closing highs from 2018, and over the next 2 years or so, we have a series of failed breakouts. And here was the last failed breakout before we go into this massive plunge. But what's the real takeaway here in terms of why playing momentum and playing breakouts is more advantageous? Now, if you timed these lows correctly, if you time the lows in each of these stocks correctly, and let's say one institution, one person got the lows here correctly, which is also not easy, and you get the lows here for NCLH, you get these lows also, again, not an easy feat, but you can see the returns in one case were not good, and yet the returns in RCL are phenomenal. So what's the difference? The difference is in the breakout quality. What do I mean by that? You can see at some point, instead of playing the lows game, trying to find the stocks when they're trading at year lows, like trying to find the lows, you are better off playing momentum. Because in this case, if you are playing momentum, you can see here that after the lows, now take these highs in 2021, and if you draw a line from there as the line to watch, if you draw it that way, you get a breakout entry here, right there. Now compare that with NCLH, and these are the highs of 2020, the highs of 2021. Comparatively, look at the gap. This was not breaking out to multi-year highs. So that right there is a red flag, and a reason, given the two, if you are playing breakouts, and you know why you should be playing breakouts, it naturally leads you into the right stock. So at least it is showing you something different. It's breaking out. So that's telling you that this is a stock I should pay attention to. But I think more importantly is consider this big drop here, huge massive plunge here. And if you're an institution and you also understand that there was also a failed breakout coming into 2020, so go back to this monthly closing high as we discussed, use that level as a future entry point. If you do it that way, you can see you get this breakout level here. Compare that with NCLH, which as you can see here, of course, is miles away from the breakout. So these are the two stocks in the same industry. One would go on to perform well after the lows here, but in this case, the other underperformed. And what I'm trying to show you here, it's an example, a good example, that why playing this breakout make more sense, because it is telling you that something has shifted, something has changed, something is different. Momentum has come. It is finally breaking out after spending some disastrous periods here. So it is clearing all this disastrous period and is now trading at new highs here. So if you enter here, you have a chance of having a double almost within the same year. This is 100% return, 100% return from the breakout of 2024 to the highs of 2024, more than 100% return. If you are trying to play a slow moving stock, the most it did in 2024 was move from 20, so from 20 to about 27. So we can say at most that's a gain of about, let's call it 35% or so. So playing breakouts surely is the way to go. By the way, a quick search for NCLH on my website here, and we can see we don't mention it. The last time we mentioned it was in 2026. Now compare that with RCH. We can see we mentioned this stock as a breakout candidate for clients in June of 2024. And again, I mentioned this for paid clients in August of 2024. So at least by playing breakouts, which is what I specialize in, and I've been specializing for 20 plus years. This was not a stock we had an interest in, but this was a stock that we had breakout alerts again sent out in June and in September. Once the stock showed us momentum after it had cleared this range. I am Eric with Mother.com. I leave you as I found you in the love light of the one infinite creator. Go forth rejoicing in the power and in the peace of the one creator. Adonai.